to our Fearless and Fit calls. These are hosted every single Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. We also have a power hour every Thursday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time. I also want to encourage you guys to get on any and every, excuse me, any and every call that you can. So if you are able to get on Monday night's calls, Melanie hosts calls on Monday night. And on Thursdays is the Revelation Fitness team. So if you can make any of those, I highly suggest jumping on them as well. The more calls you can get on, the quicker you will grow your business and you will keep that momentum going. So with that said, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, before we got into our call tonight, I want to make sure everybody is on a Beachbody Cup Challenge team. This is really, really important to grow your business. It has been proven that people that participate in the Cup Challenge grow their business immensely. And a lot of them make an average of like $450. So very important to be on one. It's a great time to bond with other people on the team and to just push your business to a new level. Also, my goal for you guys is that in August, we just make this an epic month. I want every single one of you to rank advance. So no matter where you are right now, so if you were an Emerald coach and let's say you went back down to coach, I want your goal to be ranking to Emerald. If you're an Emerald coach, I want you to rank towards Diamond. This is key in your business, to be setting these goals. And if you can focus on, a month goal, you will be able to, once again, push your business forward and really, truly see more in your business than you ever thought possible. So I'd love to see all of you rank advance this month, as well as hitting Success Club 5. So my goal, though, would be that every single one of you helps at least 5 people this coming month. 5 people, that's it. So after this call, I want you to write down 5 people's names that maybe you already have an idea of who they are. If you're not sure, just write person 1, person 2, and you can fill them in as you go. But if you can just think, this month of August, I will help 5 people. I'm going to help change 5 people's lives. Then you will be able to do that. I set these small goals for myself so that I know I am making a difference in this world. That's what we're about. We're not about, just our business. We're here to be helping people. And if you can just focus on helping a certain amount each and every month, then your business will take off and you'll get the rewards through just helping others. So that's all I got. There's a lot of you coming up to the end of the month with like Success Club 2 or 3 or 4, and you are so stinking close. So I want you to hone in and once again, set that goal to help, whether it's 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 people, to hit Success Club 5 by the end of the month. Just go for it. If you have been talking to 2 people a day and it's not cutting it, up it to 5, up it to 10. You can do it. I have been, and I know I've said this before, but I have been at the very last day of the month and at like Success Club 2, and my goal has always been Success Club 10, and I've made it happen. So there are ways to do it. I've done calls on it. If you need ideas, you can go into our file section and look under the recordings to check it out. Or just message me if you need individual help. But I truly believe that you can do it. If you believe you can do it, you will. So let's get into our call. So tonight we have Courtney Brock and Whitney Knight. And we are going to be talking about taking your business from being stagnant to being unstoppable. Both of these moms have just they both actually gave birth within this year, or this last, I guess, I don't want to say 2015. It's been this past 12 months. They have, within that time period, kind of hit a plateau in their business, actually weren't even sure if they wanted to continue with it, and chose to keep going, and truly they have just rocked it. Ever since they made that decision, they have been truly unstoppable. And I want them to kind of share their story of what changed and how they did it, because I believe it's a lot of your mindset. And so I asked them tonight to kind of talk to you just about what it is that changed and how they have gone about their business differently to become that unstoppable coach. And truly, you know, they have set these goals and they have said, you know, nothing's going to stop me. I got this. So I am going to start with Courtney, if that's okay with you. This is the first time that Courtney is speaking on a coach call. Yay! So everybody give her a nice warm welcome. We are so excited to hear from you. And don't be nervous. We're just talking about your life and your awesomeness. So take it away, girl.
There we go. Can you hear me now? Perfect. Okay, so as Amy said, she kind of wanted me to touch base on where my turning point was. So it kind of like to go back to where I started. I'm coming up on my 1 year in the business at the end of August. And back when I started, and I had been following a whole bunch of coaches at that time, so but I was still really scared. I was always one of these people that just kind of watched everybody on Facebook. I didn't really put out my own opinions. I didn't post a lot of statuses. I liked stuff, and that was about it. So to all of a sudden have to go to putting my own life out there when I'm already a really private person, it was like really well. I was about 20 weeks pregnant when I started becoming a coach. So everybody was so surprised by seeing me work out and stay active through the pregnancy. So at first they were really supportive, but it didn't take long for the haters and naysayers to kind of come out and say, oh my gosh, you're posting all the time and this is getting annoying. And actually, I don't know if anybody remembers, but I had posted a few months ago about my own mom, saying that it was getting on her nerves seeing on my posts all the time. And her and a girl at work were joking about how weird it was and all of this stuff. So at that point, I started kind of getting down on myself, and I was getting to the end of my pregnancy. So with all of that piled on together, that is kind of when I had my point of, can I do this? Is it worth it? Why am I doing this? And I don't even know if Amy knows how often in my head I had debated on quitting and totally giving it up. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to drink Shakeology either way, so I might as well just keep going for now and see what happens. I had completely backed off on posting for a little while and just kind of focused on the end of my pregnancy. And then about 4 weeks postpartum, I finally got my okay from the doctor to start working out again. So I did it, and I posted a couple times, and it kind of gave me that feeling again of being proud of myself to show everybody what this has done. And it had shocked myself seeing like the results that I got from staying active through my pregnancy. So I was excited to share it, and that's kind of when I started getting excited about it again. And at that time, I had gotten a couple challengers who had joined my team, and they started sharing their results, and that really made like a flood of people kind of sort of come to me, and that's when the compound effect kind of started to set in. So if anybody has read that book or has just thought like kind of like, oh, I'm sure it might work, but I'm not sure, then you should read it, because it's definitely true. I have had so many people who back in the fall when I was first starting said that there's no way they would ever do it and it's not for them and they've got all these other ways and it's just a fad. They were at that point now starting to come back and say, now can you help me? Now they realize that this wasn't just a fad and I was sticking to it. And then right at that point also in the spring is when my mom came around, who was the biggest naysayer. She bought a challenge pack, and then she started with my dad. They started both losing weight, and then she was just going to have my dad do Shakeology, and then probably like a week in, she's like, okay, I drank this Shakeology and now I'm addicted and I hate you and I need to get 2 packages every month. And that was like 5 months ago, and she hasn't stopped yet. And she keeps telling me how addicted she was. But that's the point where I think I kind of realized, you know what, I am a leader, and it doesn't matter what other people have to say. It matters what I believe about myself. And that's when it really came through. And then on top of that, her friend, who was also kind of saying things, she also bought a challenge pack, and she had 2 of her friends do it as well, and she's gotten amazing results from it. So that was my biggest turning point, and that's when I decided, you know what, I really want to become a leader. I started looking into how I can change and grow my business more. So I started doing more personal development. I started following more coaches, and I can't remember exactly what personal development it came from, but they had said that what people want to see is a journey. They don't want to just see just random things, random tidbits thrown out onto your page. They want to be able to follow you. And she's obviously not on our team, but one of the coaches that I follow, Slim Down with Sarah, she's really good for that. You always see where she is in her program. You know exactly which one she's doing, if she's in the beginning, in the middle, you know what her progress is every single day, every week. And so that's what I've been trying to do as well, is kind of put my journey out there for people to follow more, so that way they're starting to look every week and see what's coming next. So that was a big thing for me, is starting to follow other people. And then as I did that, I started having my own challengers go through their journeys, and then they started sharing with me and sending me messages about how amazing they feel, and they would thank me and said I've changed their lives. And to have somebody thank you and say that you've changed their life, like, it's a huge thing. Like, that's a big turner for you. And that's when I realized this is what I was meant to do. So I really took my business up a notch at that point as well, and I dug even deeper and started doing more posts every day and worked around my little ones. I have 3 little boys, and to say I'm busy is like, it's an understatement, that's for sure. I have got 2 little ones, plus I watch another little one. So, but I do what I have to, and that's the biggest thing. So my little guy would be up late at night, so I had to do it early in the morning. And then he started getting up early in the morning, so I'd have to do my workouts late at night, and I'd have to do my posts late at night, sometimes even as late as midnight. And then he would switch it again, and I'd have to do it in the afternoon. But I never made excuses. You just have to keep doing it, and you have to fit it in wherever you can. So I'm just trying to see what else I wanted to touch base on. Like, that's the biggest thing, is not letting your excuses get in the way. Another big thing that has helped my business is the script that Whitney had shared. I owe Whitney so much. Thank you, Whit. That script has made a big difference for me. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I can post it in the group for everybody to see. I still using that script pretty much every conversation that I have, and I would say it's about a 95% success rate with that script. And I make little changes here and there to make it a little more personal, but the biggest thing they say in the video that goes with the script, even, which I'm sure we've talked a lot about here, is to just keep asking questions. So if they say, I don't have a lot of time in my day, instead of saying, okay, well, 21 Day Fix is only 30 minutes, so that's perfect. Instead of jumping on them and explaining the product, say, okay, and then ask another question instead. And keep asking questions until there's no more questions left to be asked, and then you can kind of move into explaining the program better. And it seems to be working a lot better with talking to people and getting them to trust in me more, because I think they're feeling more comfortable with me and feeling like there's more of a relationship there before I'm even explaining products. So that's been a big help for me as well. And then another thing that was kind of funny, actually, wasn't funny at the time, but about a month ago, I found out that I had been, I was supposed to be claiming my Beachbody earnings to the government because I'm on maternity leave right now. Until that point, I had actually never really paid attention to my commission, was just in it to help people look out. And then that I had to go through and tally up everything that I had made, how much I was bringing in every week. As silly as that sounds, I really had no idea seeing how this could change my life and how much of a business this really could be for me in the future if I just keep working hard. I have seen a huge change over the life, and it is now starting to get to the point where it's actually making a difference for my family, not just paying for her. And that's a big thing, because I've always wanted to do this to help my husband, because he's such a hard worker and he's always the one kind of having to take the brunt of the bills. So it's been nice to see that grow as well. And another thing too that I've learned along the way is to always make sure that you're doing everything that you can and you work as hard as you possibly can, but to be okay with not being able to do everything. And that was something that I struggled with in the beginning, is wanting to do every single thing, reaching out times a day. And I wanted to do personal development for an hour a day. And at that point, I couldn't do all of that. And as important as every single piece is, I had to be okay with doing as much as I can. So if I only got 5 minutes of personal development in a day, I had to be okay with that, because beating myself up over it every day was making me want to quit. So like I said, make sure you are doing everything that you possibly can. But if those 10 minutes of personal development and 3 people instead of 10 is all that you can do that day, be okay with that. And another thing, like I'm sure many people have seen the quote that says, "Don't give up on your goals because of the time it takes to get there. The time is going to pass anyway." That is probably one of my favorite quotes, because it really applies to being a coach as well. Either way, you're going to drink your Shakeology, and either way, you need to work towards bettering your health. So why not keep going and sharing that journey? Even if you only help one person a month, you are still making a difference, and making a difference in that one person's life, and that's still really important. So yeah, that's basically the most of it. I had, of course, much better things written out, and I'm kind of blanking here, but those are been the biggest changes over the last few months for me. I'll pass it back to you, Amy.
Thank you, Courtney. And yeah, so with your business, I saw, from my perspective, that's exactly what I saw. I saw her, after she had the baby, she posted, I think it was like one photo. And then it was like, oh my gosh, like she started to feel the traction, see the traction, and it kind of lit that fire, just because she had the guts to share a photo, of her after baby, and then here a couple weeks after doing her workouts and everything. And I know a lot of you guys are hesitant to share that before photo, but I promise you, this is how people connect with you. It's one of those things where your finger like hovers over that enter button. You're like, should I post this? Should I not? And it's like, you just got to go, bam, do it. Because if you're thinking it, and if you're, if you have any inkling that this could help somebody, then there is somebody out there to see that post. And so whether you have had, a 50-pound weight loss, or you lost 2 inches, guys, that's a transformation. That is something you can share, which, is great too about what it is that we do, because it literally, in a week, you guys can see changes in your body. But you have to be conscious of taking those photos and sharing your journey, because people want to see that. And just like with Courtney was saying, her schedule changed around her kids. Like, she couldn't always be up early in the morning doing it. Sometimes she had to stay up late at night, but she shared what she was doing. And so sharing that struggle of, man, like, this is tough. Now my son is up late at night, or he's not sleeping, or whatever it is, but I'm making it a priority to get my workout in. Because see, when people see that she has a struggle, that she has to work through something, they can relate. So turn your mess into your message. No matter what it is. So, and it doesn't have to be a mess. It could just be whatever it is that you're doing. Like traveling this summer. How are you going to stay active when you're on the road? How are you going to stay active when you're visiting somebody, or, whatever it is? Just share your journey. It might seem boring to you and just like an everyday life thing, but I promise people want to see it. And that was something that completely changed Courtney's business, was just sharing her daily life of what she's doing. And then also, I think, as she had mentioned, this script that both her and Whitney use, that if you mind posting that in our file section would be awesome. I think it might help a lot of people, because it's something that you can follow and you can tweak to change, to who you are, but it gives you a baseline of kind of what to talk about. And so it will give you more confidence, I think, by just being able to, oh gosh, what do I say? This is written out for you, plain and simple. And like I said, both Courtney and Whitney have used it, and it's transformed their business. And I think, if I might be wrong, but both Courtney and Whitney are more introverted people. Am I right? Okay. They were hesitant to reach out to people. They're more, thinking, oh, what is this person going to think? What is this person going to say? That is who they are. And yet they have been able to be so successful in this. So I want you guys to understand that whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, it doesn't matter. You can make this work for you. And they are proof in that, because I'm the opposite. And so, some people look at me, they're like, oh, I'm not outgoing. So what? So what? These two ladies have done it, which means you can too. So thank you so much, Courtney, for sharing your story. And now we are going to hand it over to Whitney.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes? All right. Well, I actually became a coach back in 2013. It's been almost 2 years ago now. I first got involved with Beachbody when Amy messaged me about Shakeology, and I was like, no, you're crazy, that's expensive. But eventually she talked me into it, and I got the T25 challenge pack, and I joined her challenge group. And honestly, I fell in love with Shakeology. I fell in love with T25. I lost like 20 pounds. And so I was like, well, I know I want to keep drinking this. So I'll sign up to be a discount coach, because that's the only way my husband will let me keep drinking this $130 a month shake. So when I first signed up, I wanted the discount, and then I knew I wanted to keep drinking Shakeology. So I was like, well, if I can make enough money to pay for it, that would be awesome. So my mindset when I first started was I saw people as dollar signs and Success Club points. That's pretty much all they were. I just wanted to sell challenge packs. When I would post on Facebook, it was very sporadic, and it was a lot of very salesy posts. I just wasn't really, I don't know, my heart definitely wasn't in the right place. I was more just wanting to pay for my stuff so I could keep drinking it and maybe make a little bit of extra money. I became Emerald within like the first couple months by signing up my husband and then my best friend, who just wanted to drink Shakeology. She didn't want to work in business. But when I signed up my husband, I was getting Shakeology through his account now. So we were getting boxes and boxes of Shakeology packets in our home. I was able to sell some of them, but not a lot. And so, my husband wasn't too happy about that. And he was like, we're just wasting money on this. It's not really doing much. And I was just kind of, I wasn't fully in it. It was more just kind of like a hobby type thing. I hit Success Club my first 2 months, but then the third month I didn't hit it. So I didn't get the free summit ticket or anything like that. I started kind of getting discouraged. I was thinking, well, you know what? I'm just not good at this anyway. It was soon after that I found out I was pregnant. So I, started thinking, well, I'm not going to be working out that much. I'm probably not going to be eating very healthy. I just kind of put a lot of it to the wayside. And I just kind of let the excuses get the best of me. I was teaching at the time. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm really busy with work teaching. I was really involved with stuff with church. And I was just like, I don't have time for this. And so I kind of just stopped doing anything with the business. I stopped posting. I stopped selling challenge packs. I stopped participating in the groups. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to being a discount coach, just so that I can, still get my Shakeology, but just not do anything with it. 'Cause honestly, I felt like I was terrible at it. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be successful at it. I'm not going to make any more than, maybe $100 every now and then. And I really kind of let the fear get the best of me. And I felt like, since my husband wasn't like behind me 100% or at all really, I just kind of let that kind of, keep me from going forward with it, I guess. And then so yeah, like I said, I just stopped doing anything with the business. So then, all through my pregnancy, I wasn't doing anything with it. After my baby was born, I wanted to lose the baby weight. So I started back with my T25. I might have posted like once or twice maybe. And then it was just this past like January, February time. Things just kind of kept popping up about the business part side of things. Like I would see someone in like a random group I was in asking about Shakeology, and I was like, "Ooh, I could answer that question." And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna answer it. I'm not doing anything with that anymore." Or like my husband would every now and then say something like, "Oh, are you gonna start coaching again?" And I was like, "What?" And actually, I canceled my husband's coach account because I was like, "Why am I gonna keep paying for his business or paying the $16 a month for his account if I'm not doing anything with it?" So I canceled his account, I want to say like in January this past year. And then Amy messaged me a couple times. She's like, "Hey, have you ever thought of working the business again?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know, kind of, but not really." And she would just kind of encourage me. And I'm like, "Well, I wasn't any good at it." And so she was like, "Yes, you were great." And I was like, "Well, I don't know about that." But finally, the one day I knew I'd taken a year off from teaching to stay home with my baby. And I knew that I wanted to be able to continue to stay home with her. I didn't want to go back to teaching. I love teaching, but I love being home more. And obviously we took a significant pay cut when I decided to stay home. And I knew I didn't want to have to go back. I didn't want to have to put my baby in daycare. And so I was thinking, well, maybe I can do something with this coaching. Maybe I can actually, I don't know, make it into something to at least help with that pay cut that we experienced. And so I finally, I just felt, honestly, I felt like God was kind of kept putting it in front of me and kept, just in little ways, like, with things my husband was saying and with Amy messaging me and just saying things about Shakeology and other random places. And I was like, well, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Why not? What do I have to lose? And so this time around though, I completely changed my mindset. I, instead of seeing people as dollar signs and Success Club points, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get back into this with the intention of helping people. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to help people because I knew how much these programs had helped me. After I did T25, I did PIO. I finally started losing the baby weight. And I just knew how successful it was for me. And I wanted to help other people have that same success. So I decided to jump back in. I decided to bite the bullet and make a Facebook like page, which I was way too scared to do before for some reason. I don't know why, but I don't like putting myself out there. I didn't like posting all the time. And so I was like, well, I'll just make a like page and post in there. So once I finally made it public, from right away, I posted it in every single day. And I created an Instagram, which I still don't really understand, but I posted in that too. And I just wanted to be consistent with it so that people would see that I was out there. Although, honestly, I felt kind of dumb. So I was like, well, people are probably thinking, oh, yeah, she was posting about this stuff a year ago, and then we didn't hear anything from her. And now she's posting about it again. But, oh, well, I guess they got over that. So once I decided that I wanted to go for it and that I wanted to actually help people, another thing I decided was when I sold a challenge pack to somebody or to however many people, I wanted to run my own challenge groups, because one thing that I had done in the past was I would just throw challengers into the team challenge groups and I would lose track of them. I would stop checking up on them. I would just kind of leave it up to the other coaches running the groups, and we weren't able to build that relationship. I wasn't there for them. And so I decided, if I'm going to do this, I need to get enough people to make my own group, and I'm going to run my own groups. And I feel like that really helped my mindset a lot too, because that kept me in the mindset of helping them, not just selling them something and then leaving them on their own to fend for themselves. And so I was able to, my first month back in, I was able to get, I don't remember how many it was. I got like 5 or 8 people into a group, but I was like, you know what, that's okay, that's enough, that's more than enough. And I think some people, they didn't even buy a whole challenge pack. I was like, I need some more people in the group, so I let them in. But it just really, and once they started seeing results and started telling me like how thankful they were for what I had done for them, and not even my challengers, like I've had people come up to me in church just randomly, someone that I don't even know likes my page, and be like, hey, your Facebook page is really inspiring. And that's really motivated me a lot to keep going too, because I'm like, even though I don't think sometimes that people are even looking at what I'm posting, because maybe like one person likes it, even if someone doesn't like it, doesn't mean they're not looking at it, and doesn't mean that they're not appreciating it, and that it's motivating to them and helping them. So that really helped me too. I also really got into personal development, like Courtney was saying. I started listening to the old national wake-up calls every single day. When I would take my baby girl for a walk every day, I would listen to an old national wake-up call. And I was just kind of going through all of them. I think I started just at the beginning of 2014 or something. And those have really helped me, for one thing, just stay motivated, because just listening to the other coaches' stories is really inspiring. And then also like all their tips and stuff that they give has been really helpful too. And then also, like Courtney was talking about the script that we use, I had actually randomly posted in the Dream Team page one day saying, everyone says Shakeology is too expensive. How do you get past that? And some random girl, I don't even remember who it was, said, oh, this call really helped me. You should check it out. And so I went to it and listened to it. It was with the coach, Andrea Crowder. The call is called Closing with Class. And she was the one talking all about the script of asking the interview questions and all of that. And I watched that, and it really changed the way that I invite, because that's been one of my fears as well. I honestly hate inviting. I still hate it, but I do it. It helped just knowing like what to say, questions to ask, what will help, get people past their excuses and their reasons for not wanting to say yes and buy a challenge pack. So if you have not watched that, I know we've posted in the group a couple times before, but if you haven't watched it, watch it. It was amazing, and it really changed the way I worked my business. And I know Courtney said she had the questions, and I have them too. And I keep it, I have it copy and pasted somewhere, so that I actually end up just emailing the questions to my challengers, just because sometimes you don't have time to have a full long conversation with them. But it's been working really well. A couple other things I decided to do, because before, obviously, I was seeing the business more as a hobby or just something to make a couple extra bucks. But now I'm really trying to make it more of a business. It's honestly something I'm still really working on. I still have a lot of areas that I need to improve, but I've tried to get more organized. I save like everything I use, like any emails that I send out to customers, I save those so that next time I can just copy and paste it. One of the things that I make sure I definitely do is when someone buys a challenge pack, I pay attention to the date, and then I email them a week before they would get their next shipment of Shakeology and say, hey, just want to let you know it's coming. If you want to delay or change your flavor, or if you want to cancel, I give them all that information. So that's something I didn't do in the past, and I felt like people who bought challenge packs from me were kind of like, not blindsided, but they would forget about it, and they'd get their next bag and, wouldn't be necessarily ready for it. And And so I feel like that's something that I kind of do for them to help them out. I also started, not only do I do a 30-day challenge group every month, but I also started running free groups. Once I heard that idea, I thought it was amazing. I decided to do a free group every month. This is actually the first month I haven't done one. Just it's been crazy with Summit and visiting my family right now. But I feel like that's helped me too. I do a free group, get people in that, get them, you know, to kind of see what a challenge group is like, talk to them about Shakeology and about the workout programs. And then hopefully I try to get some of those people from the free group over into my next 30-day group. So that's been really, really beneficial as well. A couple other things I was doing was, I'm in some other like random Facebook groups of like, I have one like mommy's page for moms in my town, and then moms who had babies born the same month as my baby, and just connecting with people in groups like that. Like it really, I mean, because like Amy said, I am an introvert. I'm not one to just go out and make friends with everyone, but it's easier honestly online than it is in person. And so, you know, you can make those connections with people and reach out to them. And I've had so many of the challenge packs that I've sold in the past few months have been people I've never even met, but I just know through those groups. So it is possible, and it's don't let that, if you are introverted like I am, don't let reaching out to people you don't know scare you. Don't let your fear hold you back. That's something that's, I mean, still sometimes fear holds me back from things, and I'm really trying to get better with that. But I mean, and one of the biggest things that has really, really helped me get back into this and back on track with everything was I now have the support of my husband. He is like with me 100%. I'm not getting box of Shakeology shipped to the house anymore, so he's not like, where's all our money going? And he's he understands what I'm doing now. I think I was able to, because like before I was like, hey, I'm signing up for this and I'm going to do this and we're going to get this and it's going to cost this much money, and he's like, what? But now he kind of understands how it works. He understands what I'm working towards, and he sees it's actually paying off. And so that has really helped it as well, being able to help him understand it. And now, you know, he comes home from work and he's like, hey, I've got someone who wants to buy a challenge pack from you. And I'm like, awesome. So it's been a bit of a help now too. So, I mean, my biggest things have been really changing my mindset about helping people and not just trying to get money from them. And then that watching that closing with class call with the interview questions really just changed the way that I invite. And like when I was talking to Amy just the other day, and she was coming up with the title for our call tonight, she was like, from stagnant to unstoppable. And I was like, I don't know if I'm unstoppable. And then I was like, well, I guess I'm not stopping. Like, I'm not going to stop. So I guess in a sense that makes me unstoppable, because I'm not going to quit. I am going to keep going. Even if I have slow months, like this has been a really slow month for me. And, you know, part of it, I'm like, that's not good. I'm not keeping up with what I've been doing. But I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It's fine, because I'm going to keep going. Just because it's a slower month than it has been, it's, you know, it's not a big deal. As long as I don't quit, that's what makes it a big deal. If I were to quit, then, you know, then there's that. But, you know, as long as I keep going and don't let that stop me, then I am unstoppable. And if you don't let it stop you, then you're unstoppable too. So I think that's about all I have. I know I rambled a lot and my notes are a mess, so I'm not even sure if I hit much of what I had on there, but hopefully that helped at all.
No, that was great, Whitney. Thank you so much. And yeah, we will definitely get that call and the script up for everybody, because I know that has helped you guys tremendously. And yeah, just like Whitney said, honestly, it is a mindset. And that's why I stress so much. If you, yes, I say hit Success Club, hit, you know, but your Success Club points can't be thinking of your people as Success Club points. It needs to be, okay, your Success Club points translate into you helping 3 people a month. you should have a drive to help at least 3 people a month. That should be in your heart. That should be what drives you. And so thinking of, I'm going to help this person, I'm going to help these people reach their goals or whatever, that's your focus. Your focus isn't, okay, that's my 2 Success Club points, check, and then you like throw them away. It's no, like, I am going to be helping change these people's lives. That is what you're passionate about. And so I think when you can just truly get in that mindset, then your business will just follow. And I think too, because I think the nature of who I am is that I want to help people physically. I've also had to transition my thought process into helping people financially, because this business has so much opportunity that if you're not offering the business opportunity and thinking of that in the same way as helping people challenge group wise, you're missing a huge opportunity for other people to grow their business, and other people to create a financial freedom. And I don't care where you're at right now in your coaching aspect, you can still talk to them and give them the same opportunity that you have, because you never know. Some coaches, they want to do it slower pace. Some coaches have a dream of making this, their thing, and this is it, and this is what is going to provide for their family and pay off their college debt and pay their kids' college. And so if you know people, then you know people that would be interested in the coaching opportunity. Don't ever let the fear of thinking, well, maybe they're not into health and fitness, or, they, whatever the excuses are, just cut them. You should be talking to people about the coaching opportunity and help change their life financially. And truthfully, emotionally, I don't know about you guys, but coaching has completely changed my life emotionally as well, mentally and financially. So it goes way beyond the financial aspect as a coach. And if you haven't seen that yet, then I would just dive into some more personal development and get to know more people on the team, because it will change you. It will change your mind. It will change your heart. It will change your spirit. It'll change your outlook. It'll change your confidence. Like, these are things that people lack. People want that. And we have it. And we might not be perfect at it, but we're working at it daily. So always think of the opportunity to help people physically the same way as you would coaching, and it will come so much easier to you. And I think it takes the pressure off when you're constantly thinking, how can I help this person? How can I help this person? It completely takes that focus off of you. So you're no longer, a lot of the times, you have these like moments where you're like, oh my gosh, what if they think this? What if they, think I'm calling them fat? Or what if they think like whatever? If your focus is, I'm going to help them and I want to see where they're at so I can help them in any sort of way, it completely takes that focus off of you to even have those negative thoughts or question yourself. So if you need like a pep talk before you dive into your computer and start reaching out to people, just tell yourself, I am here to serve. I am here to help change lives. I am here for them. I'm not here for me. This isn't about me. This is about them. And if you can just say that to yourself before you get into, conversation with people, it's just going to organically come and people are going to be attracted to you, and you won't have that fear of rejection or what if they think this or any of that. So that is a huge, huge thing I want you guys to take away from what Whitney has said as well. Because I know that transition in thought has completely changed my business as well. So thank you guys so much. Does anybody have questions for them? No? All right.
I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my question is, with the scripts, I have some people that will like answer the questions continuously, and then some people just get so upset. They're like, well, why are you dragging this out? Why are you just not like getting straight to the point? And I want to get as much information as possible, but whenever they get upset, it's just like, what am I doing wrong? Am I answering their questions wrong? Is it just they are impatient and just want to know, like, are you beating around the bush or not? So
Can everybody hear me? Yeah, okay. For me, I kind of have to use my own gauge of how the person is feeling. Like if I've asked 4 or 5 questions and I can feel them kind of getting antsy and sick of answering questions, they'll kind of just give a short, quick answer. Then I kind of know to sort of wrap it up and then go to the closing. Sometimes I even have people say, like 3 times in the middle of answering questions, well, what's the cost? Then I will revert back to, well, the cost depends on what you're going to need. So let's talk about your nutrition. What are your weaknesses and strengths there? And then I'll just keep asking a couple more questions just to kind of divert that question to get more out of them first. If I divert it and then they go back to it again right away, then again, I'll just gauge it and say, okay, they are ready to talk further, and kind of close the call or close the conversation with the end of that script.
For me, I do it a little bit differently. As I mentioned, I email the question. So what I do is when they first tell me they're interested, or if I reach out to them first, whatever it is, I say something like, you know what, I'm so glad you're interested. But first I'd like to get to know a little bit more about your current health and fitness. I have some questions for you. Is it okay if I email them to you? They say, sure, fine. They give me their email address. So I just send the whole list of questions in an email. The very first time I used the script, I did do it a back and forth conversation, but I felt like I had a really hard time. Like I felt like the conversation took a really long time, and it was hard for me to keep that conversation going because I felt like she was ready to talk about it right then and there. And I was having to deal with baby at the same time. It was just hard for me to juggle all that. So from then on, I decided to just email the questions. For the most part, it's worked really well for me. I have a couple people who just never send the questions back, but I just figured, you know what, they're not ready right now. I'll follow up with them later. But most people will email back the questions. And the one thing I like about emailing them is I feel like it gives them time to really think about their answers. And I get some really like in-depth answers. People, you know, like telling me like, you know, how they really want to lose a certain amount of weight, how they're feeling, like, because the questions, for those of you who haven't read the questions yet, they are pretty in-depth. Like, you know, things like when you look in the mirror, what do you feel? What do you see? What do you want to feel? What do you want to see? So that it really causes people to start thinking, you know, this isn't just like another thing I'm just going to randomly try. Like, we're actually trying to help you solve your, you know, your deepest fears and insecurities and things like that. And so then once they send the questions back to me, then when I can get back into a conversation with them, because sometimes, you know, they don't send them, sometimes they send them back like immediately, and sometimes it's not till the next day. So sometimes our conversations, you know, go on for a couple days. But I'm able to tie back all their answers back into like the rest of our conversation where I'm suggesting programs and then going into the closing. So that way just works for me. I don't know, maybe it's kind of like a trial and error thing. I know you said that, you know, sometimes people get kind of frustrated with how many questions there are. And so you could try it that way, see if that works. Or like Courtney said, just kind of feel them out. And if, you know, you can tell that they're getting tired of them, shorten it up and head on to the closing. But I guess it's just kind of, every person's different too. You know, some people will talk to you all like night long and answer every single question you have. And other people are like, I just want to buy your program. Why are you asking me all this stuff? So I don't know, it just kind of depends, I guess. But emailing the questions works really well for me.
So Whitney, when you respond, do you respond through email or do you message them back on Facebook?
I usually go back to Facebook since that was where we were having our conversation before. There's been a couple times where I've just emailed them back, especially if it's someone who's not on Facebook very much. But I usually go back to Facebook to finish the conversation.
Yeah, Facebook tends to be easier for conversations, and a lot of times emails can get lost. So I think emailing the questions is really great because I do think they have time to think and respond. But for me, I always try and transition people directly to Facebook as quickly as possible, because a lot of times, even with like Instagram, if I get people's emails, I'll email them initially, and within that email I say, please find me on Facebook, click this link and message me so we can continue our conversation, because I want to be able to chat back and forth rather than waiting for emails to come in and go out. So
Yeah, and Amy, if you want, if I'm able to, I can add a couple of my successful scripts in conversations with people if you want into the file section, and then people can kind of see how I gauge it, because even though it's a script, like you do have to add in a little bit of your own here and there, so then you can kind of get a better idea of how to do that without jumping, like I said, into the program and into Shakeology, and to keep the conversation going. So I'll do that for you if you want to.
that would be awesome. And I want you guys to know as well, if you guys find anything that is like so helpful to you, post it in our file section. That's what that is for. That's like our bank of information, that anything that you think, if it was helpful to you, it will help somebody else. Let's put it that way. So share it with the group. That's why we're a group. We're here to help each other. We're a team. You might find something that I never see, or vice versa. So add it on in. Don't ever feel like you can't. Just get in that file section and click add document or edit document.
Can I ask a really dumb question? Because I tried to make a file one time in one of my challenge groups and nobody could access it. Do you have to be on a computer to create a file, or can you do it from like an iPad or iPhone?
That's a good
I want to say it's a computer.
I think you have to be on a computer unless you have it currently saved in like Dropbox or Google Docs.
Okay.
Or I think if you go to like Safari to log into your Facebook, you might be able to load it in on that way if you're on an iPad or iPhone. Because I think that the app is not much different, but it's different whenever it comes to loading files.
Yeah, I think it's limited on the app.
Courtney, is the script that you just posted in one of the comment sections the script that you've been using?
Yes, yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was the same or different.
Yeah, no, that's the one. And honestly, I've probably used it in about like 20 conversations now, and I still have to bring it up for every conversation. So like even if I started a new conversation now, I'd still bring that up just to reference back and forth, just to make sure that I'm asking as many questions as I possibly can before getting to the end, and making sure that, because people like to talk about themselves, right? So the more questions you ask, the more you give them a chance to talk about themselves, and it's almost like they end up selling it to themselves, because they've already told you of everything that they want fixed, and then at the end you're giving them the quick fix, and they've already told themselves that it's going to do that. Yep. So it really works. I love it.
Yeah, and one thing that Kelly and I actually talked about earlier today, because she had asked me, what do you do if somebody comes to you and they say, I want the 21-day fix? So they're coming to you with a program already in mind, and I still will say, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you're interested in the 21-day fix. Let me get more of an understanding of where you're at health and fitness wise, so I can see, what your goals are and make sure that they align with this program. And I have never used this script, but I am assuming it's a lot like what I do. And I will go into asking them the questions that I need to. And like Courtney said, people like to talk about themselves. So it's giving them the reassurance that, okay, A, maybe this program isn't right for them, or B, it is. So for example, the 21-day fix is honestly probably one of the best programs for anybody. So it's pretty easy to align with whatever they're telling you. So I will throw in there, if I've asked them about their portion sizes and, or about their food, and they say, I tend to do great earlier in the morning, but then I eat a ton at night and, blah, blah, blah. Then I will say, well, 21 Day Fix would be great for that. It is going to help keep your portions throughout the day, and you'll be able to eat properly so that you're not feeling so hungry at night. Tell me more about, what it is. Do you drop in your energy levels at a certain point of day? And so I ask them, I kind of reaffirm if I do believe that is the right program. So I'm just giving them a little tidbit of why that would work in that situation. And then I ask more questions so that they continue to talk about what it is. But I'm throwing little tidbits in there that's showing them that this is the right program for them. And like Courtney said, they're almost answering their own question. But in the case where they come to you already knowing what program, sometimes you do have to even change the program, because sometimes I've had people come to me, they're like, I want Insanity Max 30. And I'm like, all right, tell me about your current fitness goals, and where you are currently with your fitness. And sometimes I'm like, you might need to dial it back. Let's put that maybe as your second program. Let's start with T25. Because after I ask them these series of questions, maybe it's not the right program. So you don't just want to sell a program. You want to make sure it's right for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another thing I want to add too, if you don't mind, is not to be scared of dragging on a conversation, because of course we're trying so hard to get to success of 5 or success of 10. So you want to hurry up and get those extra points, especially if you're close to the end of the month. But most of my conversations will last 2 to 3 days, and don't be scared of that, because most people think you'll lose somebody after that long. But in fact, what happens most of the time for me is that person ends up really trusting in me, and we build a relationship over those couple of days, and then they are 100% sure of that product once they go to purchase it. I found back in the beginning, when I wasn't carrying on those conversations, I would have somebody say, okay, send me the link from Coach Mobile and I'll sign up. And then I would send it to them, and then they wouldn't end up purchasing, and they'd change their mind and whatnot, because I feel like they didn't have enough reassurance that this is what was going to work for them. But now that I build that relationship with them beforehand, they always 100% go through with it and end up joining.
Yeah, that's a really important point. I very, very rarely ever talk to somebody and they immediately sign up. I mean, it's very rare. And honestly, in most cases, especially in coaching cases, they're the quickest people to drop off to. And so if you invest time in them, they're going to trust you, and they're going to want to work with you. So that's a really, really important point, because I've never really talked about that. I allow it to kind of marinate, you need to carry on these conversations, ask the right questions, get to know them so that they do build that trust in you before they purchase.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like when you're not rushing things, and they're like, oh, it wasn't like she was trying to hurry up and sell me something, so they don't feel like they're being sold so much either.
But do you feel that if you, when they ask you a lot of times how much the price is, and you don't tell them right away that they're going, I had one customer, they really, they wanted it. They wanted the program, and I did the whole steps of, trying to defer them from that. But then when I finally told them, then they're like, oh, I didn't know it was that much. I don't want to do it. And I spent a whole week talking with them. So what do you do when it kind of comes down to that? Do you just kind of okay, cross it off? Or
sometimes that happens. And honestly, if you know that you have given them all the right information, you've asked the right questions, then they're just not ready. Because the truth is, yes, it might seem like a lot of money to some people, but if you're looking at all that you're getting for these prices, it's unbeatable. You can't go to a gym, you can't get a personal trainer, you can't get a protein shake or whatever you want to call it, you can't get a meal plan, can't get portion control containers. There's no way. You can't get all that stuff for the cost of what we are selling it for. So most of the time, not always, they might not just have the money, but most of the time it's because there's other reasons and maybe they're just not ready. And so I calmly say, I completely understand. If you can't do this right now, would you want to join a free group?
Oh, yeah, and I'll even tell them like, okay, tell me, do you usually spend like $10 outside buying coffee and your lunch, and like imagine Shakeology is only $4 a day, so if you just kind of sacrifice this for that, I was like, really, and like I'm at Success Club too, and I have like everybody, like have like 5 people that are wanting to order, and I have like sent 1 enrollment, and like I haven't heard back, and a couple more, and I'm just like, come on, like, and I'm trying not to be like attacked, but.
So
have you tried any incentives?
No, not yet, just because like, coming back from the summit, it's not like I have like, the money to go and buy, or what do you usually do?
You can always offer like a little gift too. I've done that before, and it's not like I'll get something that in like bulk that they'll use, and they won't know that I spent like maybe $10 for like 7 of them. But to them, that makes them feel like a little bit more special, or but I mean, there's also some people like that who they say that they're ready, and then you're gonna get them and to like almost the point, and then all of a sudden they disappear, and then maybe 3 months later they're gonna come back and be like, oh yeah, by the way, I think I'm ready. You're gonna be like,
and that's what
where were you when we almost signed up earlier? But
yeah, that's what happened with like, there's one girl from Canada like 3 months ago, and then she's like finally came back and she wants to do Shakeology, and I'm like, okay, talked to her like 2 days ago, sent her the enrollment, and then like haven't heard back, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then another girl's coming over in like 30 minutes to look at like size and 21 day fix, and I'm like, okay, come on, like hopefully at least 5 I can 2 more people. So it's kind of like sitting on there, and then have a couple more people I'm talking to, so I hope it all goes through. But I'm just worried that, and I was trying like the incentives, like maybe because I did get these like little wristband kind of things, but then I was like, maybe they don't think it's enough or something like that. So.
Yeah, some people just aren't ready. And truthfully, for me, and I know when it comes to the end of the month and you're trying to hit goals, it can be stressful. The best thing to do is just up the amount of people that you're talking to. Of course, you want to check in with those who said they were going to order, who haven't ordered. But in my head, an order is not done, is not there until it's placed. And so I never bank on those, the Coach Mobile things that I've sent out. I never ever bank on them, even though, you want to be like, I sent it to you, you said you were going to do it. And it's so close to being done, but I should go back and count how many I've sent out that have never placed. Like I have a lot that have never placed their orders, and it's just because they're not ready. And sometimes it takes me talking to people for over a year, on and off, for them to finally be ready. But, just try to stay focused on building new relationships and not get hung up on those people who said that they're going to do it, because that's where you get in trouble. Like come the last month and you're like, they said they were going to do it, and now I'm down, what do I do? So yeah, just never count them as that person until they've actually signed up. So
yeah,
you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. Come on.
Just talk to as many people as you can. Like Kyle right now, he's talking to 20 people a day.
That was my goal. Like yesterday, I was like, I got this, like 20 people a day. And then I'm like, okay, now what do I say? Like, and so I just like messaged some people like, hey, how are you doing? Mm-hmm. And then I think it was a call yesterday. I don't know whose call it was. I forgot, but they were saying like, look on the last, like just go to someone's profile and look at it really quick. And be like, oh, I think it was at our Super Saturday, and they said like you can just comment like, oh, I saw that you posted about your cat. That's really cool. Where did you get your cat from? Like, or what do you think about these type of cats? Or just like comment in a private message.
Yep.
So that maybe it starts some type of conversation.
Yeah, just start any kind of conversation, because I guarantee once you guys start talking, how are you? What are you doing? you get the opportunity to then share what it is that you're doing and then say, hey, maybe you'd be interested in this, and invite them along.
Okay.
Vanessa, another thing we were just talking about in our team cook call that we did yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it yet, but a huge thing that has helped myself even is have your challengers, if they're okay to kind of step out of their comfort zone and post, ask them to post their progress or post something about what they're doing within their workout and ask them to tag you in it. And normally, like, people seeing real people that they know doing it, they jump all over it and they want to know how they do it, and then your challenger can kind of send them your way, and that really helps. Tanya, who's on the call here, my coach, she did that back in January, and I had a flood of inbox messages just from her posting her progress. So if you can get your
kind of like referrals.
Yes, yeah, kind of. Like, they just go on and say, I'm loving my 21-day fix. I'm getting inches off of my hips and my waist and blah, blah, blah. And then people will just start commenting and say, how are you doing this? What are you doing? And just ask your challenger to tag you in it, and they will come your way for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing is like follow up, which we're going to talk, I think, with Amanda and the Team Cup, and then asking for referrals, because I've never asked for referrals because I just don't want to be like, hey, do you have any friends? I don't know. I feel like uncomfortable with that. I don't know. I've never really done it, but maybe I need to. So.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having your challengers share their progress, or even just talk about the support in a challenge group and what it's done for them. You know, it doesn't even have to be physically. If they don't have a huge transformation, it can be mentally, or how they feel with finally being a part of a team. That is all. And you can even create the post. You can even create the picture if you wanted. And it makes it easier for them, and just say, hey, would you mind sharing this on your page? And it will take the pressure off of them. And most people do it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because I have because right now, I don't know if you've seen Melissa, she's a challenger. Well, she's actually a coach, but she didn't want to coach yet because she was waiting for her results. And then she went to Super Saturday. And now she's all over Facebook, come, with me. And I'm like, okay, well, that's good. At least somebody's doing that. But, she's a coach, so I can't really use her.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to ask everybody.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you, Courtney.
Amy, I have a question. I don't know if you can answer, but I saw this week that the Fixate cookbooks have errors in them, and they're doing a reprint.
Oh.
Did you hear that?
I did not see that.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, I think it was on the Dream Team page that there are some container calculations, miscalculations. So there's a lot of chatter that there's going to be reprints, but I'm just wondering, is everybody who has purchased them already, are they, receiving them? I've been giving them out as
right,
and I don't want to keep promoting that if.
Yeah. I would do a live chat with them and see what they have to say about that. My children have been insane ever since I got home. So I haven't really been able to be present on all of those groups. So yeah, I missed that.
All right. I'll do a live chat and I'll post what I find out.
All right. Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, I've seen that myself, and some people were getting really discouraged about it, and were like, "Oh, we've been promoting this, and I'm not happy about it." Blah blah blah. But I think the biggest thing to remember is you can buy a $60,000 new car, and there's going to be quirks in it, and they're going to put a brand new car next year because there's always going to be something that they have to change. But so. Try not to get too discouraged about it and be upset with Beachbody. It's just something that kind of happens, and it's so far it's it's supposed to be count as oops, sorry, I dropped my phone. That's it.
Yeah. So, and that's so important too. I mean, Beachbody is trying to keep up with the demand of people and its growth. Like, we have just blown it out of the water. So, and Beachbody is trying to like keep up with everything. So they're doing their best. They are, you know, still an amazing company. Obviously, you know, they're probably going to work and try and fix everything. But yeah, just be patient. Try and keep the vibes positive surrounding, you know, this whole issue, whether it's with your challengers or other coaches that maybe are talking about it. Just try and stay positive about everything, because, you know, like Courtney said, I mean, things happen. There's recalls on cars all the time, you know? So yeah, it's definitely one of those things where hopefully they get it fixed and can at least share what it is with us so that we can correct it or let other people know. But yeah, just be positive, and you know, if it is something major, then we can just hopefully get it fixed and let everybody else know that we've given our books to. So anything else? No? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for getting on. Courtney and Whitney, great call, great information. I am truly, truly believing in all of you for August. I really think that we can make this an epic month and help as more people than we ever have. So thank you guys all for joining us. And I hope you can get up nice and early with us on Thursday mornings. I know it's early, but literally you can just roll out of bed and join us for our Power Hour. And if not, we will see you next Tuesday night. Thank you guys so much.